Hey everybody, welcome to my messy carving shed here in Virginia. My name is Hunter and I carve animal skulls, designs into animal skulls with a Dremel. So we're going to talk about one technique today, so let's jump into that now. Okay, so if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by, I appreciate that. What we're going to use today for carving this skull is I have a Dremel 4000 with a flex shaft, and then on the very end I have an adjustable chuck. The adjustable chuck is a game changer. Pretty much you can use any burr regardless of the size when you have an adjustable chuck, and you don't have to worry about all those little different size cullets. So get you one of those. We are going to be carving bone. Bone dust is very bad for your lungs, so please do not breathe it in. I use a Respirator Junior. That's just because I have a beard, but you can use a different type of mask as well. And then safety first, wear some glasses, please guys. Things do happen, they do fly around, so you wouldn't want that in your eye. And then of course, you're gonna need a skull. So let's jump into the technique, which is a lattice or a lace type of technique. Now all we're really doing is just punching holes in the surface of the bone, but there is a big difference between just punching holes and then making that look kind of like that lace effect. What I have here is cow skull, domestic cow. This is a dairy cow. One way, actually, side note, as far as telling what type of cattle you have here, dairy cows have this very prominent crest on the very top of their cranium. I believe this is a Holstein as opposed to a Jersey. I could be wrong about that, but we've got a cow skull, okay? I've already carved a Saxon cross on here. I did that last night, and this is to kind of show you that the lace pattern works really well around something else. So if you're doing a design, if you put this around the design, kind of in the negative space, really brings out the design that you've carved. There are other applications for the lace pattern, but just in this video, we're going to use this as the example. Step number one to actually make all of this work is to lay out a grid for your holes. If you just start punching holes, yeah, it'll look fine. I've done that before. But the trick to making this look more like a lace is to have a uniform holes and not random. Now that we've got our grid on there, penciled on, we're gonna hit it with some hairspray, and that will lock that lead tracing out on the skull so it doesn't smudge when you're carving it. Now we are ready to do the bulk of the work, which is punching in all the holes. And you are going to carve in the hole at the intersection of all of these lines. Now you're going to use a diamond dust burr like you see here, and just plunge it in straight into the bone. The skull is going to have different contours, so just make sure that you are vertical to whatever surface you are punching that hole in. holes are all carved out, and in and of itself, it still looks pretty cool, but in order to take this kind of to the next level and make it look, give it that lace pattern, I'm gonna break out the whiteboard, so brace yourselves, guys. So right now, the holes, let's see if you can see this, the holes are gonna look like this, right? The edges are gonna be very square. So what we wanna do is essentially create a bowl and cut off those edges, and that'll bring the holes closer together. Like it'll appear as if they're closer together, and then it'll give this nice kind of, oh, I don't know what you want to call it, round edges to your holes. So what we're going to use to do that is a large diamond dust, here it is, ball burr. So you can see that right there. And that'll kind of create a little dome within each of those holes. And lastly, just go over the whole thing, hit it with some sandpaper, and that'll knock off all of the rough edges. Okie dokie, so there you have it. It is all done. You will notice I did add a edge around the design, kind of a lip, and I think that just helps kind of define the area and helps clarify for the person viewing it kind of what's going on, and it kind of encapsulates the lace design especially. So you can or can't or don't have to do that, but I think it just looks really well with this. This particular skull, I'm still having a lot of cleanup to do on it actually. I am using this in the next video for next week, so do check back. We're going to be adding some resin to the skull, some colored resin. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Do feel free to subscribe if you learned something today, if you just like skulls like I do. I appreciate that. And another thing I really like about doing a cut through lace design is that when you carve skulls, and if you've carved some already, you'll notice this. If you're getting into it, this will probably happen to you. But someone will see a skull that you've carved and they'll say, oh wow, did you paint that? Nothing against painting skulls, but doing something like this where you're cutting through the bone and exposing a lot more dimension to it really instantly makes the person viewing one of these skulls recognize that, oh, that's carved and it's not painted. Not a huge deal, but it just kind of lends to more of that carved bone feel. So thanks again, guys. Hey everybody, so I just wanted to tell you really quickly about something that I just made. I had carved this bison skull. It has a circuit board design on it a bit ago, and a lot of you saw several videos on carving this skull. I made miniature 3D printed versions of this very skull. There's a 6-inch and a 3-inch, and I do have those available for pre-order, so link will be in the description. If you would like to support the channel, if this is something that you get a lot of value out of, this is a way for you to do that. I've never done something like Patreon. If you want to support the channel, I want you to receive something in return. But if you just like skulls, this is definitely something for you. Or if you're into tech, with the circuit board design, gaming, you know, if you just think it's pretty cool. So, link in the description. Again, thank you so much for your support. Thanks again for watching.